Tanisha, your mic is off.
Yes. Okay, now am I audible, Priyank?
Yes.
Sorry, that was a mishap. Yeah. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and to everyone who is here with us. I, Tanisha, on behalf of IEEE SRM Student Branch, would like to welcome you all to the Tech View as the start of our very much awaited event, Concepto Season 2. So here we are, folks, with the flagship event of the year, Concepto Season 2, brought to you by IEEE SRM Student Branch. Everyone wants to be at the zenith of their career after college ends, right? Wants to be placed in their dream company and work towards their passion. All of us are hustling to achieve this dream. But what do we really need to achieve what we really aspire? The answer is guidance. And well, this guidance comes with experience. So here we are with Concepto Season 2 at your rescue. So please, guys, don't worry. At Concepto, get ready to learn from 12 brilliant speakers belonging to a diverse range of fields and industries. Watch them discuss their strategies, plans, and how they built their exceptional career graph from scratch. Watch them discuss all they have got till now. And they are from companies like Google, Morgan Stanley, and many more. Well, without much awaiting, today I would like to invite our first speaker for the event, Mr. Tanay Pratap. A very warm welcome, sir. A senior software engineer at Microsoft. He was previously involved in the making of Microsoft Teams and Outlook. So, sir, once again, a very warm welcome to you and thank you for taking out your time out of your busy schedule.
Thank you for inviting me, and congratulations on the season two. This sounds very much like Coffee with Karan season X. So, Tanisha, thank you so much, you and the entire team for inviting, and this would be a great experience for me as well. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. This would be a very fruitful experience for our audience, sir. They are here to get inspired from you. So, sir, without much ado, let's start with our interview session.
Sure.
Okay, sir. So here goes the first question, sir, which we everyone is really
One second.
eager. Yeah.
We don't call people sir in our industry. Like in IT industry, nobody calls anyone sir. So just call Tanay. That would be the first thing I think anybody would tell you in a job. So just go ahead with Tanay. No sir. No sir needed.
Okay. Sure.
Cool.
So, Tane, this is our first question, which we all are really eager to ask you, which is, what does a typical day in your work life look like?
Okay, so it has changed a lot over the years. When I joined Microsoft, I was SD to lower band, then I got promoted to another band, and then I got promoted again. So with every promotion, things have changed. And right now, I'm more of a tech lead role where in I have some parts of programming and a lot of part discussing with product, discussing with other teams on how delivery is happening, helping my teammates plan better, helping my teammates when they are stuck, doing more PR reviews, code reviews, design docs, architecture. So it's little away from code as it used to be, but I think as you grow into a senior role, these are the things which are expected from you in large corporations. So a day typically looks like I wake up, and I have a desktop here, and I sit on my desktop mostly to work for office, because that gives me a lot of posture and presence. So and they generally starts with emails and whatever work is left. Then I do code reviews, talk about what is going on around code reviews, around architectural decisions. Then I get some time to code for myself, and after that, again, the second half is mostly open for discussions, for prioritizations, for discussion with team members, and also that's how it goes. Evening, I have some calls with folks in US. I work with both the coasts. So there's East Coast and there's West Coast. So East Coast is actually there's the difference. The time difference is low, so 5:36 p.m. calls. Sometimes I have 9 p.m. 9:30 calls as well with the other team members. So this is how the day looks. It starts around 9 a.m. and goes till 9 p.m. some days.
Okay, so this sounds like a hectic day, but I'm definitely sure that you enjoy because it's definitely your career and your passion.
Yeah, it's not very hectic, to be honest. What happens is when you join these companies, right? And I have been doing this for 9 years now. This becomes more like a routine, and there are evening calls. So during the day, you take some time off, you relax, you chill a little bit. With work from home, at least you get to spend more time with your family. But even when work from home was not there, and I had to take evening calls, I would leave the office early, telling my manager, "Hey, we have a call." Everybody knew that this understanding is there in product companies. I would leave the office early, spend some time with family, and then come back online from home to do the calls and all. Yeah, but it's not too hectic. I'm sorry if it sounds like that. Don't want to scare
No.
anyone. Microsoft is a nice place to work. Work from home is great. No problems.
Yeah, so there are a lot of positive aspects. Before
Yeah.
starting off with more questions, Tane, if you want to present any slide or anything, you can go
No,
ahead.
I don't have any
Okay.
slides, anything. I'm
Okay, sure. So let's
all
dive back.
open for
Yeah.
questions. Just go ahead with questions. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So these are all questions which people are really eager to know because we did
Okay.
do a poll for it. And so let's dive back. So the second question is, which is in fact a very common question, which we have. How did you prepare for your interview? And could you recommend any resources or strategies for acing it at
My
Microsoft?
Microsoft interview story is little different. I didn't do DSA and I didn't prepare for DSA. And when Microsoft called me, I told, and I have told this public many times, that I told them that I don't want to interview because you ask only DSA questions. And they said, okay, why? But we are hiring for JavaScript, for React, for web dev roles. I said, if you ask me web dev, then I would do it, because I honestly I don't know DSA. It's not like I was purposefully trying to show off. I didn't know DSA because I did DSA back in college, long time back. Then I went into a networking role, a network security role, Mr. Robot type role, which people relate to me a lot. And then I went into an AI role, and then I went into web dev role. So nobody asked me DSA in 9 years of my career. In 6 years of my career till then, nobody has asked me DSA. So I was like, I don't know, I have not practiced. And so Microsoft told me, why don't you prepare? I'm like, why would I prepare? I don't need the job. So you need me. So you should make an exception. So they discussed and they came back and said, okay, we'll do a web dev based hiring for you. And we'll make an exception. And but you have to ace the web dev hiring. I mean, yeah, that's okay. Let's do that. So I did that. The questions were really great, by the way, around web dev, and the bar was really high. And I was lucky that day. होता है ना, दिन होता है आपका. So that was my day.
Correct.
Every dog has its own day. So that was my day. So it was a lot of luck, to be honest. But at the same time, what I'm trying to say here is, if you want to be exceptional, you have to be exceptionally talented at what you do. Like, either you should be really good at DSA, or you have to be really good at other things, so that companies can make these kind of exceptions for you. So that's how my
Right.
interview went. I went first round. There was some web based question. Before that, there was a machine coding round, which I keep talking about in all my videos. It was basically I had to write React, Redux, everything from scratch. So I did that. The interviewer got very impressed, and then he called me for interview was also really difficult. I cracked that. He got more impressed. Then he said, I need this guy, and don't ask more DSA questions. I asked some basic questions. So when I say I don't know DSA, I know basic DSA. Like, logic is good enough to, like, I think recursion can solve like 50% of the problems, even if you haven't seen those things. So I did some of those, and then from there onwards, few other rounds happened, and it was easy. It was not that difficult, to be honest. But yeah, that's how. But my experience is not very relatable to a lot of folks, so that's why I don't want to stress more on that.
Okay. This sounds quite of an interview, to be honest. Very
Yep. Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. It
And
was.
you said that interview bar was set high in the sense of questions on technicality.
Yes. Yes. Like, I know what kind of interviews people face in in startups or other companies around web. Like this was 4 years back. Now things have actually changed. Now there are companies who are only hiring for web roles and only hiring via web based interviews. And now even at Microsoft, the teams I have been in, Teams team, and then Microsoft Outlook team, and now the Fast team where I am in. So all these teams now are hiring only web based. So I've been like a champion to them, saying, "Hey, if you want to hire great web talent, you have to fix your hiring." So senior hiring is fixed. I won't say Microsoft is a mammoth, right? It's a huge company. You can't do all wide changes unless you are Satya, and I am no Satya. Satya, by the way, is Satya Nadella, who is our CEO. So, but at the same time, Microsoft is a great company wherein you are respected as an agent of change. So if you come in with a great idea, people respect you. People give you the room to experiment, and if you prove results, then you're rewarded. A few months back, I got an award for being a hiring champ because I did all of this. I never tweeted about it actually, but I will. Thank you for reminding. So that's the idea. So now many parts inside Microsoft and many companies outside are hiring via web, but at that time it was little unique, to be honest.
Okay, so first of all, congratulations on your award. And
Thank you.
yes, yeah. And moving on to the next question, can you tell us how we should create our resumes and what we should include or exclude? Like, did you present a resume to Microsoft? No.
No,
Okay. And
I'm really bad at this. So here is the thing, right? What I say is, if you're playing the resume game, you have already lost it. Okay.
okay.
If you're playing with the ATR, resume machinery, the AI which reads resume, you're playing a losing game already. So my thing is, be exceptional, make companies chase you, make recruiters chase you, be visible and be exceptional. If you do both the things, nobody would need your resume actually. So that's there. But yeah, I would say resume. As a student, what would you write in your resume anyway? Like, organized concepto season 2, nobody cares, Tanisha. Like like when you come for hiring, I'm being honest, and you say, "Hey, Tanay, I have done this season 2 and I interviewed 7 people." I'm like, "Yeah, but okay." That's fine. So what we need is, we need a strong proof of work, right? We need very strong. If you have, like, what would impress someone on your resume, right? If you have a web app which is being used by thousands of people, if you have a mobile app which is on Google Play Store and has ratings, like 50 ratings, right? And it's very easy to hack 50 ratings and have that app out there. But I would suggest, don't play the resume game at all. Play the game wherein you have enough proof of work to show that you have done something, you have created something. End of the day, programmer's job is to program, not to write flowery words on a resume. So win by programming and not by playing the ATR, the application tracking game at all. That's what my funda is, and that has served me really well. It served my students also pretty well till now.
Okay, so yeah, this was insightful because many people still believe like resume takes you a long way. I guess that notion is now changed. Next is, how do you keep yourself up to date with the current technology trends? I mean, do you need to working as in Microsoft?
Yes, very
Oh,
much. Oh my God. That's like, see, you are paid top dollars in a company because you keep yourself at the edge all the time, right? And so I need to. And how do I do that? Is I read a lot actually. I have subscribed to, I don't know how many newsletters and blogs and RSS feeds, and sometimes I don't get to read all of it, but I keep reading, like, books, a lot of books. If I show you my bookcase, I like full of books, a lot of books around technology. So there is this. The people think you should always be on the cutting edge, but with cutting edge, you should also have the depth of all these technology, right? So books help there, and then there are blogs, there are RSS feeds. So I keep saying this all the time: is what you need to do is, you need to go to every big company's uh, tech blog and subscribe to their RSS feed. And what you can do is, and this is a small plug, is you can use Outlook to subscribe to RSS feeds. So I get all my updates in my inbox, and then when I wake up and I see, and oh, Flipkart has done something new, oh, Uber has done something new. Okay, this is around system engineering. I don't need to understand that, but if something is around front end, I definitely want to look into it. So that's there. Then I watch a ton of YouTube talks are there, right? Like conferences happen, and people give really good talks. You should watch those. Like just search React talks or JavaScript talks or web talks, or Chrome dev tools talks. So I keep a tab on talks. There's newsletter, RSS blogs, and then there's talks, and then there is podcast is super important. Yeah, podcast. When you're walking, what are you doing anyway? So just hop on a podcast. Fifth is Twitter, but Twitter has a very low signal to noise ratio, and LinkedIn is just people doing shitty things. कि कुत्ता ही भगवान है. I was going on an interview, then the dog was there, then I found dog is the interviewer, and things like that. So social media has gone down to dumpster. Otherwise, Twitter and LinkedIn used to be a good platform. Quora used to be a good platform, but right now, I think the four things which I told are really helpful. Those things I clearly subscribe to and follow up very closely.
Okay, so yeah, in-depth knowledge is very necessary, I see. And do you have any recommendation for our students, as in podcasts,
Podcast,
which
just go
they
to
yeah.
Spotify and search for whatever you want to search. Like if you want to do software engineering, there is a software engineering daily. I guess there's a podcast. They produce really good podcast. But I just do that. Like if I want to learn about parsers, like at one point of time I was so much into parsers and compilers. I listened to at least 40-50 hours of content around this. And by the way, that's my special power. If I want to learn something, I would I would be an expert on it like in 2 to 3 days. I will just keep consuming content on it, and high density content. I'm not saying Netflix. So yeah, so you do that. That's what I do. So basically, if I want to learn something, few months back I moved to React Native, and that's how I did React Native also. I looked into all the podcasts. I said React Native. These are the top podcasts. Okay, start listening. Then they will mention a word. I don't know that word. Then I'll go and read. Then YouTube videos, all React Native conferences. I have very nicely, like I have a playlist of all React Native conference videos which I want to listen to. So I used to listen to those, and then I would take notes. So I am good at note taking. So when I'm watching a video, I don't just sit and watch as a it shouldn't happen. So I take active notes, and with drawings and everything. So it keeps me engaged. So yeah, I mean, just whatever you want to know, just search. You believe in the search system of Spotify and YouTube and Google, and that's how you do it. Makes sense.
Correct. Correct. So you stop at nothing but exception in knowledge. Wow. Next question,
Yes.
which is a very interesting one. That I have heard that even a small change, such as changing button colors on a website, takes days of A/B testing. Is it really true?
No,
Okay, so
no, no.
it's a myth.
It's not a myth. It's basically
Okay.
where you are changing the button color, right? Um, wh- so, so basically, what happens is, if it's a customer facing thing where you have to convert, it's all about marketing and the funnel and everything. Like it would take a lot of time to explain, but it does not happen everywhere. It happens at some places, yes, but most of the places it does not take weeks or months to do things. We have a very strong triad, by the way. Triad is PM, dev, and developer. So we three work very closely, and sometimes the changes go even in a day or 2 days. That's how continuous integration and continuous delivery works in big companies. If it takes weeks, I'm not sure how we will survive this market. But yeah, it's not true. It's not true.
Okay. And talking about markets, so in today's era, what are the things a tech company would be looking for in an upcoming employee, according to you? Like after even the COVID situations, and if they are hiring, so what are like the major things or even minor things they would be looking in an employee if they want to hire
Okay.
someone?
Okay, that's a good question. Uh, See, one thing is core skill. You cannot not have core skill. You can't have all the pizzazz and not have the core skill. So you have to be an excellent programmer, and uh, and not just programming. Like when people think of programming, they think about language and language fluency, right? And maybe sometimes DSA, but it's not just about that. You need to understand how systems work altogether, how a computer works, how cloud works, how microcontrollers work, maybe, and things like that, how databases work, how networks work, all of that. So I would like, if I'm interviewing someone, I would definitely want all of it, like more understanding, more ability to explain these things, and understanding end-to-end solutions. But once these things are there, most of the times if you have these things, you get hired. Like jobs are of plenty for programmers who are good. And then communication skills, leadership skills, creativity, presentation, all of these do come into picture, but these are like 5 to 10% only. 90% is about how good a techie you are. That is like, you see me, or you see few people on Twitter or on LinkedIn, so you think ki, "Arey, sare techies, they have to be this outgoing, they have to be this camera friendly, they have to have this fluency while talking." Not needed at all. uh, Most of the techies don't need to do that and don't do that. They are very happy implementing a solution and being great at what they do. So, and they would be really fluent and communicative when it comes to talking about architectural decisions. So we have like decent amount of fights around, why this and why not that, and all those things. So basically, you need to back your theories, back your discussions up, and that comes from having in-depth understanding of why this and why not this, and that's what people look at. In a fresher, I don't think people look at that at these days in just DSA and all. But over the career, I'm sure everybody would tell you to build or depth over anything else. Yeah.
Okay, and so continuing from the previous question, what exactly a student should put more emphasis on? Coding abilities, development abilities, or these are two different phases altogether?
I think you should balance it out. For clearing the interviews, you definitely need DSA, so you should do it. And when I say definitely, I think college placements are still DSA based. But if you're getting placed through Rocket or somewhere else, it won't be required. But you should definitely have some DSA, and then you should have development also. What happens is, if you only know DSA and you land up a job and you don't know how to do any application development, maybe web app, maybe mobile app, maybe desktop app, then how would you survive there? Like, people think after I get into the gate, it's their problem, it's not my problem, but it is your problem also. You have to survive, and not just survive, you have to excel at wherever you are, right? And the excellence is what you should chase. So definitely do both. Depending on how you are chasing placements, you should create your strategy. Like if your placement is going into a big product company, and your company is your college is providing that opportunity, then double down on DSA. Do 90% DSA, 10% development. If you are looking for jobs outside your college, you want to get into a high growth startup, then maybe do 50% DSA, 50% development. If you are going into a web development, a client development role, basically web, iOS, Android, maybe do 80% development and 20% DSA, and you would still crack a great job. So again, strategies differ from where and what you want to do. There's no blanket answer to these things.
Okay, so that must have cleared the doubt. And let's take a hypothetical situation now. Like, if, for example, I'm bad at competitive programming, that is DP, maths, then can I ever get into a product based company to start with?
Yes, exhibit A, you can very much. The ever is the ever is in question. if you are if you are a person who is really good at development and you don't like DSA, see, one thing which I would tell you is have an appreciation for DSA no matter what, because it is beautiful. I think it's beautiful. But at the same time, you don't have to do competitive coding and stuff to get a good product-based company job. I know for sure Facebook, Google, and some parts of Microsoft, this mirror thing is confusing me. So so these three companies, at least Uber also to some extent, at least for UX, for mobile, they don't ask a lot of DSA, right? So the only problem here is that you won't get into these companies as a fresher. So what you need to do is you need to get into a high growth startup as a fresher, work there for 3 4 years, and then see if you really want to, like, product based startups and then product based companies. There are two different things, right? So you have to think whether you want to jump from a product based startup to a product based company, and you can very easily crack it. I know a lot of people who have done it. So it's not just one me, and now a lot of people have joined Microsoft, Google, Facebook. These guys are not hiring on DSA for specific roles. But the thing is, you see ads, you see Instagram posts, you see LinkedIn people who are always talking about DSA. DSA is the way to go into DSA FANG. It's you like, okay, this is the only way, but this is not the only way. I'm writing a book basically. I've interviewed many people, and the book is coming. It says alternate route to FANG. People who made into FANG without going to without doing DSA. And it's a story of very senior people, people like me and senior than me, who went into FANG without having a DSA. So it will come out very soon. I think in 20th or sometime this month itself. Yeah, so stay tuned for that.
Everyone who's confused must have marked their calendars till now. And
Yeah.
now, if you were to ask between differentiating between CSR, SSR, SSG, ISR, on what basis do we need to prioritize them?
This I saw this question, CSR, SSR, ISC. This is way too technical to discuss right now, I feel. But what you need to understand is these term these are just like these have become like marketing terms right now. But none of this is a new technology in itself. Okay, this is all old wine in a new bottle. Okay, so what you say, server side rendered, all websites pre React.js were server side rendered. Like all PHP websites are server side rendered, right? It's not something new. SSG, when you say, it's basically what you're saying is HTML pages. And when would you want to do HTML pages? Only when you know your content is not changing very often, right? And it would help your SEO. So all of these things do not. It sounds very techy right now, and the web dev Twitter, the tech Twitter is about, let's discuss SSR versus SSG and this and that. But 1990s, people have figured it out already. So go back to basics. Think why we would use a WordPress site which is SSG, SSR, sorry, versus why would you use a Gmail which is basically client side rendered CSR, right? So everything has, one is an application, other is an information site. One is an information site which has changing content very often. One might not have, so you can go SSG, then SSR, then CSR based on your requirements.
Okay,
Does this make
so the
sense?
base, yes, it does. So
Yes.
the base
Cool.
should be clear instead of
Yeah.
like just focusing on these marketing mimics, I guess. Like
Yes.
base at the
Yes.
end of the year.
Like it's just these people keep doing it. Okay, so there was this term, like first it was server, then it became cloud, then it became DevOps. It's still the same thing, just little bit of polish, and every few years. And I know why this happens. Why this happens is because the CIOs, the IT head in these corporations, right? They have to go and sell something like, how would I make my job relevant to a bank? I'm an IT guy. How would I make my job relevant to a bank? So I would invent new terms and say, hey, we are doing this now. We are moving to cloud, and then we are doing DevOps, and then we are doing SSG, and oh my god, okay, something. My IT head is doing something. So that's where all this marketing and jazz comes in. But if you have the basics, then you can see through
Then you
these
got
things.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but in our placements, how essential is our academic studies and extracurricular? Academic as in CGPAs, does they really matter? Like maintaining good ones, and what about extracurricular? Like what do we need to have if we are really
So
applying such product
I don't do
companies?
fresher hiring from Microsoft these days. I'm only into senior hiring right now. But even fresher hiring, we care more about your programming skills. If I'm talking about Microsoft, right? We care more about your programming skills, your understanding of tech, of OS, of database, of networks, and stuff like that. And other companies, I don't know how they are interviewing, so I shouldn't comment. But outside Microsoft, I have placed a lot of folks, right? And there the extracurricular doesn't matter much, but your communication skill does matter, like cracking an interview. um, and CGPA, so CGPA though, it doesn't matter much, to be honest. But you should not have like a really bad CGPA. It should not be 5 6. 7 and above, I think, is fair enough. If you have enough, like if you're a 7 and you are winning some Olympiad, some innovation, some robotics challenge, something, and you say, Tanay, I did this, and this is why my CGPA is 7. I'm like, kya hai? Aaja yaar, no problem. Okay. But if you are a 6 or 7 and you are saying ki, bro, I used to play Dota so much, that's why then obviously it's a red flag, right? Like, you have to do something good with your time. So I'm not saying playing Dota is bad, but have 9 and then play Dota. Okay. So that's where CGPA comes into picture. Like, CGPA is just one signal to tell you how sincere you are. But if you have enough signals to tell a recruiter how sincere you are, like you have a kick-ass GitHub profile, you have apps, you have maybe tech blogs, maybe tech speaking experience and things like that. So if you have enough signals for the recruiter, they won't care about the CGPA. But if you have no signals, you're like, oh, resume, then CGPA matters, because then you are playing again. When you are playing the resume game, then it's a different. Then CGPA is the only thing which is standing you out.
Okay. And speaking from communication skills, is it like very important to have English proficiency in these things? Like while you are taking up an interview?
Little bit, yes, but you don't need a lot of English proficiency. Also, that's what I was saying, right? A lot of people inside the circle, once you are in the circle, talk in Hindi or in local languages or in mixed languages or in broken English, and all of that is fine. Again, I'll keep saying this. This is when you are exceptional as a programmer. If you're not exceptional, then all these are clear signals. If you're not exceptional, your CGPA would count, your college name would count, your English would count, your resume would count, your internships would count. But if you're exceptional, nobody cares about these things. So it all depends on how good you are as a programmer and how awesome you did in an interview. So you have to give some signal. We are looking for a programmer. 90% is that. If you're not a good programmer, then we would start looking for, अच्छा बात तो ठीक ही कर रहा है, अच्छा smart तो है ही, and then things like that. And CGPA is also high. Oh my God, he's from a tier 1 college also. So maybe he'll pick up. So let's take him. I'm not sure. I'm not talking about Microsoft in general. I'm talking about, like, let's take him. There are good enough other signals. But if you have a very strong signal as a techie, nothing like it. Even if you're not very good in communication, you'll say, hey, that communication he'll pick up, yeah. Because everybody is a good communicator inside a closed group. Like when you're talking between 5 6 people, people open up, people start talking once they get comfortable. So it's not like extroverts have an extra advantage. That advantage is there only when you are competing with non-exceptional people.
Correct.
This makes sense.
So, yes. So, if you are a programmer, an exceptional one, so it all is covered.
Yeah.
And now, what is the importance of performance optimizations in web development and how to make a web app look fast?
You want to make it look fast or you want to make it fast?
Make it
That is the
no, I guess fast in general, like the web
fast.
application. Yes,
So see, application speed is of utmost important, right? People have zero attention span these days, especially if you are targeting the gen. The I don't know what is the latest gen. Is it Z or Z plus
Gen
plus
Z.
right now?
No, no, no,
Gen
no.
Z.
It's Gen Z.
No, because you don't know when you will grow old. You will grow old very fast. So today Gen Z is thinking I'm Gen Z. Tomorrow it will be Gen Z plus, and then you will feel old. But that's another story. So when you see Gen Z, right? I'm trying to say we, but please don't mind. I'm old, I know. So when you're watching a reel and like bore kar raha hai, bore kar raha hai, like you don't even have 15 seconds of patience anymore to see whether this 15-second reel will help me or not, right? Or will amuse me or not. So if your website is slow, obviously you are losing potential customers by every millisecond, not even seconds. Okay, and there have been reports from Google and from other companies around why this is super important. Now there is a flip side of it, right? The flip side is this is important only where you have to convert a user into a permanent user. So apps like Teams can take some time to load, or app like Gmail, it takes around, say it loading your email, because once you have signed up, where will you go? You will not leave all your emails. "Oh, this is too slow, I'm not going to use Gmail from tomorrow, I'm not going to use Outlook." You will not tell your company, "I'm not going to use Outlook, I'm not going to use Teams, it's too slow." So, again, everything comes down to what is the business requirement. And as a developer, people obsess about few things and leave the business requirement outside the scope. So, you need to work very closely with product, you need to work very closely with design to understand what's important. Yes, speed is important. Yes, performance is important, but so are features, right? You can't say I will load just a skeleton to look fast and there would be no features, and user would not have anything to click for like 3 seconds because your JavaScript is loading, right? So there's always when it comes to seniority, I think the one thing is it's always about trade-offs. It's about trade-off between speed, uh, and your user delight, and sometimes features, sometimes business requirement, things like that. So, and you have to make shift, you have to negotiate and get your way out and do the right thing for the user, do the right thing for the customer. I think that's the key point here. This makes
Correct. So
sense.
for yes, yes.
Cool.
So for marketing your products, performance optimization is quite important.
Yeah.
Now talking about era, as we were about Gen Z, how were you as a college student?
Very bad.
Like in terms
Like
of CGPA or in terms of
every in
in
every
general?
way, I was bad. The only thing which was good about me was that was a good communicator, and the same thing is, if I put my mind on something, I would be an expert in like 40 to 50 hours, and I can put that 40 to 50 hours in within 2 to 3 days. So that's one superpower which I have. Otherwise, I was really bad. 7 CGPA, yeah, okay. And then I never used to study. Exams I have flunked. What else? All the time I was on bike with a companion, going to watch movies and having fun and discovering new restaurants around Manipal and then Udupi, and then our radius kept increasing. Udupi se Mangalore. So I think I was really bad. I was not a model student. I think the only thing which helped me was when I put my mind on something, I get good at it. That's the only thing.
So
Otherwise it was really bad. Chi, chi, chi.
so
This
how
question
did
you
you
shouldn't have asked.
become no, but how did you become a tech savvy? Like your love for programming, obviously you put your 40 to 50 hours into it. So how did you become like an excellent programmer? Because obviously the bar were always set high while recruiting programmers, especially for a company like Microsoft. So that
Yeah. So it was not tough. So for me, programming is more like gaming. Okay. So when you do you do gaming, Tanisha? You play any game?
earlier,
Candy
not much like
Crush.
GTA.
GTA, any games. Like, so the
GTA.
gaming
Yeah,
has this inbuilt reward system, right? Wherein
correct.
you play more and then there are different levels and then there are different levels. So for me, programming is like gaming. There are different levels and there's inbuilt reward. So you get into a flow state and you can program for hours, 20 hours, 30 hours, whole day. So I was bad in college because यार कितना boring होता है subject. Everything was just so boring and teachers were so bad and exams were so sad and oh my god,
We
I don't
also
want to
stress about
remember.
this. We are through
I
that
mean, it's
phase.
very hard to do good in college, yaar. I mean, it's like it takes a different. Like I have respect for people who did 9 CGPA in college. I'm like, either you are that boring or you have like total self control in life, which I don't have. I don't. I have to enjoy something to do it. Okay. So I enjoyed programming a lot, Tanisha, and that's how I
Before
became a good
college?
coder. Before college, also, I started
Oh,
programming when I was when I graduated 10th. So in our school, I don't know what happens these days. We used to have like 5 subjects, and fifth subject was computer science for me. So I learned C++ then, and I loved programming. I used to be in my lab all the time and try different pointers and this and that. And that is the time I actually did DSA. That's the time, like 15, 17 years back, when I did a linked list and stuff like that. Okay. So I love that. And whenever, even in college, whenever I got a chance to program, I programmed the hell out of it. Then I like, yeah, same cheese. Like all apps are same. You start seeing the patterns. Okay, it's a database connection, it's a front end, and it's an event, and then database goes to there, and then you get save the database, then you retrieve the database, and then I got bored out of it, and then I moved to networking. Like this is too boring. Programming is boring. Let me do network security. So that's how I got the placement. But then when network security happened, people were not ready to pay top dollars for it. So I said, I don't want to say what I said, but but then I said bye bye network security, and I went back into programming. So that's why I didn't practice DSA or anything, because I was not setting for DSA placements during college. I was setting only for I sat for like 2 companies, Cisco and Cypress. Cisco rejected me because there was an aptitude round and I didn't know aptitude. So वो होता ना कि 10 people did it in 12 hours, then 30 people how much time? Like, again, bye bye. Not that word which came. So bye bye Cisco. And Cypress hired me, so I went into Cypress. It was a high paying job. Then when I had to shift, Cisco again offered, because there was a friend and he knew how good I was as a programmer in college itself. So bas that happened. The most of it is luck. My story is mostly luck. Uh, it's just that when I'm given a chance, I prove that I'm awesome. But getting a chance is definitely luck, part of the story, nothing else.
but you definitely had the zeal for programming for like the early
Yeah,
days,
yeah,
I must
yeah.
guess.
Even now, I love,
So
like,
that
if you
what's
give
keep you
me,
going.
yes, I itch for programming. Like, if you give me a good thing to program, I can program for days. I don't get to program a lot these days.
Okay. And so, what advice would you give to someone who wants to be a tech YouTuber? He is in the programming game, he likes development, and now he's thinking that instead of placement or even trying for a company, he's ready to be a tech YouTuber. What kind of advice do you want to give to such students?
I would say go join a company, work for a few years, understand how software engineering works. Your understanding of the the software domain. Like I was there, right? I was once. I thought, in software engineering is boring. It's the same thing. This, do that. I just said, right. So, but when you get into a company, you realize at scale, at scale, it's the game is very different. You have to do a lot of things. So I'd say go join a company for at least for a few years, understand how things work, ship some products so that you have that you have that credibility. Ki, hey, I have helped ship teams and Outlook or things like that, right? So definitely, I mean, I would give that advice. I wouldn't say anyone, go join, be a YouTuber right now. There's already a lot of YouTuber. What you need to be is, now, this is very different advice, but what I think is, instead of chasing the number game, you should chase the impact game. So, if you want to be a YouTuber, be someone who can actually make difference in someone's life, right? Don't just do likes, like, comment, subscribe. Don't just play that game. Maybe help people get jobs, and you can help people get job or do a startup only when you have done few of those things yourself. So maybe get some experience. You're just 21. There's a lot of age to do YouTube. You can do YouTube on the side. I wouldn't suggest someone. I sound like a very old grandpa, but I wouldn't suggest someone go and do YouTube just now, because what what is something so unique which you are bringing to the YouTube table, which no one else has done? If you have a very unique proposition, then you go and think about, can someone else do it or not? If someone else can do it, people will copy it. So what is your moat, right? So if you want to do a YouTube, or you want to be a writer or something, you should think about you yourself as a startup, right? Why would someone invest in my growth, like invest as in time, money, or anything, and then finalize that whether you have that competitive advantage or not? If you don't have, why want to do that just because it's cool, because it would sound awesome on YouTube or on Twitter? Don't live your life by what people think of you. Like, make sensible decisions is what I would say.
But practical experience makes it more impactful, right? For anyone who has practical experience in the real world, working on projects and different groups and stuff, that is, in that way, he's more much sound with everything going around in the
Yep.
tech world.
Yep.
Okay. And what do you believe is like I have asked this question, but in a different way, what do you believe is like the best qualities a newcomer can have, like, or what he can offer to a corporation? Apart from CGPAs, aptitude tests, and stuff, like what is it that the corporations really need right now after the whole COVID situation and scenes?
So corporate doesn't need CGPA and even DSA and all. That's just the entry barrier. Because we had to create a barrier, we had created a barrier, nothing else. What can you offer? I think what you can offer is inquisitiveness, which I feel a lot. I tell my juniors in company, ki, ask questions. If you don't understand something, ask questions, and be very curious about things, how this works, how that works. And when I started doing that, a good thing happened is people would take me out for tea. कि तने चलिए चाय पी कर आते हैं. Okay, चलो चाय पी कर आते हैं. तो we would go out for tea and तने ये जो ऑथेंटिकेशन है हमारा, वो कैसे काम करता है? How does authentication work, right? So I would explain them that this is a third party thing, and then Microsoft is OAuth, and then this. So they started liking it, and every day there would be some other question like how does that work? How does that work? I enjoyed it because it would um, help me polish my basics again, and they would learn also. And what I think is everybody became a better programmer, because the more you understand about the underlying systems, the more you appreciate it, and then you can provide better suggestions during architecture discussions as well. So as a fresher, I think in curiosity is great. Communicating with your seniors, uh, being able to write. Like, if you are new to a meeting, don't just sit around and think, oh my god, what are they talking, oh my god, what are they. Instead, take notes and then publish those notes. Hey, these are the meeting minutes I took, and these are the keywords I didn't understand. Just a question mark, didn't understand. Some one of your senior would say, oh, this, sorry for using this word, OKR means this, and because we use acronyms so much. So I think curiosity, taking notes, doing documentation, reviewing PRs. I encourage people to review my PRs also, because either they would learn, or they would give us a very different angle. Why not this? Don't be afraid of critiquing others' work. Understand what's criticism and what's constructive feedback. And I hope you get a great senior like this. But most of the seniors in industry want to mentor you, so seek mentorship wherever you are working, and it would help you. So if I had to summarize, what did I say? One was that you need to be curious. Second, you need to be
Inquisitiveness.
yes, and then documentation. And third is definitely seek mentorship, review PRs, ask questions around code as well. Okay.
Correct. Right. Actually, yes, today you have been a great mentor for all of us, our student Tanay. And with this,
Thank
our
you.
interview session is over. Now I'll just head up and get you some live Q&As, which they want to
Okay.
ask, and I'll ask you
Okay.
the same questions.
Sure. This is a great point, right? I'll read the question. Is it
Yeah,
okay,
sure.
Tanisha?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go
so
ahead,
Arindam,
please.
this is a great point. It says, Tanay, please talk about how front end today is more than just design. Everyone in college still is not aware about the importance of JavaScript today. Yes, uh, one thing I want to say is front end today is not more than just design. It's way away from design. Like you have a triad today, which is one person is product who thinks about the idea, one person is designer who thinks about the design and how it should work, and the developer's job is not to think about colors, where to place buttons, how many pixel left, how many pixel right. You don't have to do all of that. You just have to do JavaScript and do a lot of development, logic building. And that's why a lot of people tell me, hey, I don't have a color sense. I don't think I can become a front end developer. Why, man? There are people who are challenged by literally seeing colors, right? Like you say color blind, and they are front end
Yes.
engineers, because you don't need to understand color at all. You just need to know this is the hex value which designer has given me. I need to put it here. That's all. Your job is to make it interactive. Your job is to make the state work properly. Your job is to make it scale, make it performant. Your job is not to think of design at all. So thank you, Rindam. Great point. Thank you for selecting this question also. Great question. Who? Shubhankar Vishwanath is this question I keep getting, and I have the same answer all the time. Okay, so this question is how much time you suggest we should give to coding on a daily basis so that we land in a great company? So I always give this answer is that have you heard of Bruce Lee? So Bruce Lee would say, someone asked Bruce Lee, how many push-ups do you do? So he says five. And so just five? He said, yeah, just five after it start hurting. Okay. So coding should be like that. If you want to get into a great company, if you want to be in top 1%, you should keep coding when it start hurting. Like I know this sounds very pro hustle, and people on Twitter are going to kill me for saying that, but that's the truth, dude. That is the truth. Like people will say 8 hours kar lo bahut acha hai, but no, there's so much competition. Let me be honest with you. Someone needs to be. So there's just so much competition in the top 1%, that to get there you have to work really hard. So don't think about hours. The concept of hours and days should be lost on you until you get into a great company. That is my answer always to this. You have to work hard, dude. You can then one day when you grow up, you have 10 years of experience and you have all the nice things in your life, you can tweet, don't work on weekends, hustle is bad. That is all good coming from a place of privilege. But the current reality is that you have to work really hard. So don't ask me this question. It should hurt. Your eyes should hurt. Your fingers should hurt. And then you should also then too you should keep coding. That is when you fall in love with program. It's simple. It's very much like how you fall in love with anyone, right? You feel sleepy, your hand is hurting, but you still want to listen to her voice कि अरे यार थोड़ा और बात कर लेते हैं. पूरा आपको नींद आ रही है, आप मरे जा रहे हो, 10 घंटे से बात कर रहे हो फिर भी. That is how you fall in love, right? एक गाना आता है, you keep seeing that, listening to that song 100 times on loop. This is how programming should be also. It should be a looped song. It should be like falling in love. मैं तो भाई बहुत possessed हूँ. My answer will be this. But if you don't like this, you can ask someone else.
And you still code like that? Like your
Yeah, I
eyes hurt?
do.
Like till
I
date?
do. I
Okay.
do.
That's
I
exceptional.
do.
Yeah, that
I
would
no
be
no
an
it's not. It's
inspiration.
not. Anybody who actually programs a lot. When they program on
Okay.
their personal project, they would program for 15, 16 hours straight, easily 20 hours sometimes.
So
Okay.
that this becomes
So
like a good habit forever, like
it's not,
programming.
it's basically a state of flow. Okay. You
Correct.
start enjoying it so much that even if you're physically hurting, you won't mind it. It's like trekking or anything which you enjoy. Everything which you enjoy hurts. I think trekking, love, programming, right, all of this, but then you have to keep doing it.
Okay.
I want to work in Google. Sir, any advice what I should focus on mainly from my first year itself? Why to first work in Microsoft? Yeah, Google keeps sending me emails. I don't go and interview for them. I want to work at Microsoft. You should try working at Microsoft. But yeah, working at Google or Microsoft doesn't matter. Anubhav, uh, I think one thing which you need to understand is, yeah, देखो ये थोड़ा, this is again an anti advice. It's like you should not focus on companies. I want to work on this company or that company. What you should focus on is I want to do programming. I want to do great work. I want to do challenging work. And these things will be a byproduct of it. If you chase good work, if you chase excellence, if you chase challenge, Google, Microsoft, any company, any money would be a byproduct of it. वो फुनसुक लाल वांगडू बोलता है ना कि चेस एक्सीलेंस एंड वो कामयाबी झक मार के पीछे आएगी. That is so true. That is the essence. That is the truth in your life. So anybody who's giving you like fang advice, तो उसको तो unfollow कर दो पहले, ठीक है? Because that person is toxic. That person is telling you that happiness is in money or happiness is in working for X company or Y company because I'm doing unboxing videos, right? So वो तो पहले unfollow कर दो उन लोगों को. Now second thing which you need to understand is happiness is in programming. Happiness is in solving challenges. Happiness is in facing great problems every day. So if Google gives you great problem, go work at Google. But if a 0 to 1 startup is giving you awesome problems to solve, then go work there. So I would say don't chase companies, chase excellent problems, because once you start solving excellent problems, you start becoming exceptional programmer. Okay, so that is what I would say. First, like don't focus on the right things, dude. Don't focus on company. क्या बोलूं मैं, ये सब छोड़ो. Yeah, Anubhav, sorry for not giving the right answer. How is placement competition of CSE nowadays? I don't understand this question, Abhijit Mana. Do you understand what is this?
I guess Tane, he really wants to say that what is the placement scenario for CSE? Matlab, what are the things they are now looking for? Soft skill, hard skills, even in CSE, because majority people graduate from CSE every year, so they do want to know this, especially for first years, because they are just afraid of placements from day one in college.
Dude, DSA is something which you would be asked if you're getting into a product-based company. And if you're getting into a service-based company, because they know you don't have to program, they will ask about soft skills and communication skills. So depending on where you want to be, start preparing from day one. Start programming, start getting projects, start solving problems, start understanding and appreciating the entire computer science curriculum. Teachers कैसे भी हों, teachers सबके खराब होते हैं, उसका कोई टेंशन नहीं है. You should basically focus on learning, and I would say just fall in love with programming, and overall just like break things and see like how would you write a database or your own multicast protocol or your own React or your own Redux. If you start focusing on these things, don't worry, you'll get a great job. Just start doing these things, keep writing blogs. And if you do this, Abhijit, you're in first year, if you do this for 2 years, ping me anytime with your 50 tech blogs and your 50 GitHub repos where you have made it. I would introduce you to great companies, and I would introduce you to great jobs. That's what I do on internet, by the way. I help people get great jobs, but only people who have awesome proof of work, who are in love with programming like me. So I'll help you. If you're scared, I am giving some advice, but the companies won't ask this, I'm saying there are many companies who are looking out for people like you, and money won't be an issue for you.
Okay, so
I hope this gives
yeah,
some confidence, huh? Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay. So now we won't be taking any more live questions. Thank you, guys. And obviously now I need to wind up, Tane. And this was great talking to you. I really think that all your points, all your jots down points and everything would have helped our students very much, especially because there were many first years who were looking for some answers, who are just confused, like how to go about it in programming and in this tech related world. Now that we have come to the end of the event, I would like to thank again Mr. Tanay Pratap for sparing his valuable time and making this event very informative and cheerful for all of us. So thank you, Tanay. A very special thanks to the audience for showing their interest and involvement toward this event. We look forward continuing this beyond this event also. We would love to see you all in the forthcoming events. So with this, we finally conclude our event. It would be really generous of the audience to please fill in the feedback from in the given comment section so that we can keep bringing such informative sessions right onto your screen. The certificates would also be provided, so please be handy with those. And these are for only people who fill the feedback form. Thank you, Tanay, once again for your valuable time. This session was really much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you everyone who joined me on a Friday evening, 8 p.m. I hope you had fun and you had learning. Thank you so much, Tanisha, for inviting, and thank you to Team SRM Concepto Season 2 for doing this. Everyone, please follow along with for all the awesome sessions which are coming up.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for your inputs. Bye bye. Take care. Have a nice day ahead.